my name is Logan Quintana, and today I'm going to be talking about my service learning project that I got that I made from volunteering at Mercy Street. So first, we're going to talk about the background of Mercy Street in the bio. They were founded in 2003, located in West Dallas. The address is 3801 Holy Stone Street. Their job and their goal is to impact the community and have Christian mentorship and go into these low-income areas and do Bible studies, do after-school care outreaches, sports tournaments. They also do summer camps, and so their job is to their idea is to strengthen these communities and support their communities. And so I'm going to talk about how a couple of the things that I learned in management applied over. And just for the record, right over here, this is going to be the textbook definition for all of these. This is going to be the textbook definition. I will just put it in my own words and talk about the application, but the actual words is just going to be the textbook definition. And it's organizational culture. It's a little self-explanatory, but it's the culture that the organization embraces, the ideas, the set of beliefs, the values that they bring to the table and that are encouraged. And Mercy Street has a culture that definitely embraces serving the youth and Christian mentorship. And I really got to see this whenever I got to, there was devotionals every single day, and a lot of playing with the kids and just talking to them and, serving them. And I also got to reenact a Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors. I got to reenact that and be Joseph, and the kids were the brothers, and so they got to throw me in a hole and sell me to slavery, and we did the whole story, and it was super fun. We all had fun, and I got to explain to them the importance of relying on Jesus and praying on Jesus when times are tough, which is the moral of that story. So I embraced the culture and the values and the norms that the organization had presented. The next thing I want to talk about is intrinsically motivated behavior. Intrinsically motivated behavior is essentially doing something for the love of the game, doing something because you want to do it, not because of something you get from doing it. For instance, my job would be extrinsic. I'm extrinsically motivated to do my job because I'm only there for the money. I'm not there for the job itself. But Mercy Street is very intrinsically motivated. Every single person is there because they love serving the community. They love being that impact. For example, I saw this whenever Mike, the guy that's in my class, but 2 of the days I was serving, I was with and around him. Almost every single kid knew his name, and he was talking to them. There was a personal relationship, and it's just so obvious that he cares about what he's doing. And I could say the same about almost every single person that works there. They're very intrinsically motivated. And the next thing I want to talk about is group size. This concept of smaller groups being more intimate rather than larger groups where there's just a lot of people. I think in smaller groups, people are more proportionally important because, one person out of 4 is 25% of a group versus 10, And so I saw this whenever we were doing a devotional on one of the days, and kids some of them are listening, some of them really aren't caring, whatever. And afterwards, we split off into 2 groups, split the guys and girls, and there was about 5 boys that were with me and Rolando, and they kind of weren't really talking, they didn't really care, just whatever. And I knew I was gonna get to them, so we go in the room, and I was like, I'm gonna make these kids talk. And so I start having a conversation rather than just group speak. I'm like, how has this impacted you? Where is an example where you saw God in your life, or where you felt like God wasn't there? And I want to hear your honest opinion. And being able to have that talk, be able to let them know that their voices are heard. It's a much more intimate conversation, and they all were a lot more involved and engaged in the conversation, and we're having this back and forth that just was not there when there was a larger group. And so next I'm going to talk about the impact this has had on me. I think explaining the story of the Coat of the Many Colors, that's one of my favorite stories right now. And I was actually at a lunch day talking about how much that means to me because sometimes I feel like unfair things just happen, and it's important to rely on God. And being able to share my faith and share something that to them, they don't really understand the severity of it, but for me, I want them to have that idea planted in their mind. That way, when they're in my shoes, they understand the importance of putting your faith in God. I really hope that goes a long way. And I just had a lot of fun. I met this one kid, Keen. I think I was really able to speak some life into him and just be a friend to him. And it was just fun, play soccer, play football, play some Jingo, connect more with them. Super cool stuff. I think this is going to impact my career as well. I think I've learned a couple of soft skills through multiple things I was doing. They were just throwing me on the spot, and I'm just winging it. For the reenactment, I winged it. I had to lead a game for all the kids in one time, and there was a handful of kids. We played a cup game. I just winged it. That's a very important skill to have. You need to know how to wing it sometimes, as well as just communicating with kids. I really got to understand that kids, we don't know what they know, and so you have to talk in a certain way, not knowing. For instance, a perfect example of this is I was talking about Genesis, and I picked up some of the kids. I could see on their faces they didn't know what Genesis was. So I said it's a book in the Bible, and they're like, okay, that makes sense now, and we could start talking about it because they've never even heard it. So being able to effectively communicate to different groups of people, I think, is just another important skill. I think both of those are going to play a great job in my finance career. Yes, thank you.